Spread your legs for me, Violet. Violet's eyes snapped open. What the? Where am I? But she didn't have time to think. Asher Nightshade was already kneeling in front of her. You! Asher grinned before grabbing her leg and trailing slow, deep kisses along it. A warm ache pulsed between her thighs. To her horror, she was naked. What is going on? Asher, wait! Violet cried out as he bit her. Humiliation and desire warred within her as a sharp, pleasurable pain shot through her. Asher took his time, kissing her thighs with focused intensity, as if they were a masterpiece. It didn't help that he had a clear view of her most private parts. Asher, please! Violet was lost in a whirlwind of sensations. Part of her wanted him to stop, part of her didn't. As if reading her mind, Asher gave her a knowing look and hooked her thigh over his shoulder. Violet's breath caught in her throat. She knew what was coming. Asher pulled her closer, spreading her legs wider, leaving her completely exposed. Asher! She breathed, uncertain. But Asher had already made up his mind. Oh, God! Violet gasped, a cry escaping her lips, as a jolt of pleasure shot through her. Waves of pleasure radiated through her body, making her arch her back. Her eyes fluttered closed as she surrendered to the sensation. She writhed beneath him, unable to stay still as the intense pleasure washed over her. Asher didn't stop. Her reaction only encouraged him as he continued his ministrations. Someone seems to be having fun. Violet's eyes flew open. She turned her head, gasping as her gaze met mesmerizing green eyes. Roman Draven. Violet was stunned. How? Where? When? Her mind raced with questions. What are you? Violet's words trailed off as Asher shifted to a new rhythm. So suddenly she cried out, Please! Her hands gripped the pillow as if it were a lifeline. You're such a naughty little purplehead, aren't you? Roman chuckled, the sound vibrating through Violet's very core. Oh my God, she thought. I'm losing it. Nothing made sense, but she didn't care. Her mind was completely consumed by pleasure. She could barely think, let alone breathe. Roman lifted his head to speak to Asher, who was still between her legs. Looks like our girl needs more attention, he said. Our girl? Violet was taken aback. Since when did I become their girl? Asher's response was a low hum between her legs. A sound that reverberated through her, making her even wetter. This is so embarrassing, she thought, wanting to disappear. Before Violet could process what was happening, Roman's lips trailed a slow, sensual kiss across her neck. She whimpered. It was all too much. Don't worry, he whispered in her ear. We're gonna take care of you. He then nibbled and teased her earlobe until her face flushed crimson. Violet's head swam with dizzying sensations. But that was just the beginning. In the next moment, Roman's mouth closed over her nipple. And then she finally understood what he'd meant. Roman! Violet screamed his name, her hips bucking off the bed. But Asher's hand landed on her backside with a sharp smack. Violet couldn't tell if he was angry that she'd called another man's name while he was pleasuring her, or if it was because of her restless movements. Roman didn't stop. His tongue lavished attention on her nipple while Asher continued sucking, licking, and teasing her with his mouth. It was an overwhelming onslaught of sensation, and Violet thought she might actually die. Not that it would be a bad way to go, she thought as her body coiled tighter and tighter. She ground against Asher's face, clutching his hair, crying out in pleasure. She was right on the edge. Asher. Oh my God, Asher. Oh, Roman. She gasped, arching her back against the mattress as both men worshipped her body. The moment Asher's finger slipped inside her, Violet shattered. Her muscles clenched around his finger as she climaxed, spots dancing in front of her eyes. Roman leaned over and kissed her, swallowing her moans, kissing her so deeply she felt like she was drowning. Violet. A voice called her name, pulling her away from the blissful sensations. Violet, wake up! The voice grew louder, more insistent, and her eyes flew open. Disoriented, Violet looked around the room. Her 3 roommates were staring at her, each with a different expression on their faces. Lily awkwardly scratched the back of her head. Hazel Sterling struggling to keep a straight face. And Alice's face was bright red. And then it hit her. It had all been a dream. It hit Violet like a ton of bricks. The whole thing had been a dream. Even worse, her roommates had been front row witnesses to her very vocal dream. The mortification was intense. Heat flooded Violet's face as the realization sank in. Not only had she made a total fool of herself, but she had done it in front of the worst possible audience, her roommates. She didn't even want to know what she had said in her sleep. But judging by Alice's glowing red cheeks and Hazel's barely contained laughter, it had to be bad. Her stomach twisted with embarrassment. She could already hear the teasing that was sure to come. The whispered jokes, the smug grins. Violet wished she could sink into the floor and disappear entirely.